Hello everyone, this is good evening. This is Poonam Desai here. I am marketing executive and host for today, welcoming all of you on workshop Awareness on Value Engineering for Business Leaders. So this workshop is organized by Value and Tech Private Limited. As we are near to end to our beloved Sunday, let's end it with little useful information on value engineering. So hello.
Yes.
Yeah, am I audible? Means sometimes it's getting mute. Really sorry for that. So let me start it again. So here's little information on Value and Tech Private Limited. We are into consulting, training, courses, certifications. So we are basically engineering, research, and management consultancy. We will help you develop new approaches, processes, resources, and tools so that you can cut costs and get better or new product to market effectively. So we are also into providing workshop, training, courses, certification on value engineering, and even we offer different courses on engineering itself to universities and company employees so that we can build a real potential for the company as well as for future generation. So basically, here's a short note on what we do and our concepts and for whom we are doing it. So basically, we solve all the engineering issues, literally anything. So we also teach to students and employees how to solve them for themselves and also certify and prepare them for the future issues. And our concepts are basically engineering, research, and management. So it is like from product to all the project resources, process, everything. And for whom it is basically for everyone who is connected with the engineering field. So basically companies, MNCs, organizations, startups, universities, colleges, students, everyone. So this is basically related to all the engineering as well as research and management. And management in the sense for HR and everything related to the employment in engineering sectors. So this workshop is presented by Mr. P.Arjunraj, and he's engineer by profession, research scholar, certified. He's also a certified value engineering expert and social worker. He's into technical innovation and wave consultant, member of Save International, and also a wave VAV Society. So from here onwards, Mr. Arjunraj will take the presentation ahead. Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Poonam, for the detailed information. So, welcome all once again. Today, we are going to cover the topic called awareness on value engineering for business leaders. So, as you know, all you are working in a big and a great organization, and here all are considered as leaders. And so, uh, here I just want to touch upon the topic value engineering, how this is being applied in any organization, and how it is helping them with respect to process, projects, services, and for their product as well. I request the participants to put on mute actually. So the agenda for today's session is I will be covering a discussion on to the value analysis, value engineering, value methodology, process optimization, how it can be applied for a manufacturing company, and I'm going to touch on product innovation and how you are going to implement the value engineering in an organization. So let us go to the basic, what is called a value engineering. Now, value engineering is a systematic, organized approach which provides a necessary function in a project at the lowest cost. So here we have two parameters, one is function, another one is a cost. So we need to provide a necessary function with a lowest cost, which should be our objective. It can be through a substitution of a materials and methods where we are looking for a less expensive alternatives without sacrificing the functionality of the product. Here, attaining the lowest value in order to accomplish the functions, needs, desires, and expectation of the customers. So here, we are aiming at increasing the value by lowering the cost without any compromise on the function. That should be our objective, basically, which will also meet the expectation of the customers. At the end of the day, we are here today to increase the value that we can provide to our clients, customers. So value engineering also examines a term called LCC, which means life cycle cost. So how we can define the life cycle cost? It's nothing but the total cost for a product or a process or a service or any equipments. So this total cost is nothing but the initial cost plus follow-on cost. So you might be knowing the initial cost. What is the cost required for the process or a product or the service or for buying any equipments? So let us go to the important topic called follow-on cost. What is called follow-on cost? Follow-on cost is nothing but the ownership cost that is been associated with running the facility. Okay, this is nothing but the summation of all the associated cost of running the facility. For example, it can cover the energy, maintenance, repair, replacement, staffing, etc. There are a lot of companies across the globe where they are concentrating on reducing the power consumption, saving the energy, without affecting the process of the particular company. So that is their target, basically. So here, as I said, the main objective here is to reduce the cost. So here we are here to reduce the cost without affecting the function. That should be our prime motive. And here when I say the follow-on cost, it involves all the costs, which involves the energy, maintenance, repair, staffing, etc. So we have different type of maintenance, as you know. We have breakdown maintenance, we have preventive maintenance, we have scheduled maintenance. So if there is a breakdown happening during a manufacturing process, it will not only affect the productivity, but also it will add a cost to the particular line. So here we need to consider all the aspects such a way we are going to reduce the overall cost, which means not only the initial cost but also the follow-on cost. That is where this value engineering will help. Basically, we have 6 phases of value engineering. The first phase is nothing but the information phase, where we are going to collect the information about a product, process, or a project, or a service, or any equipments. We are going to collect a detailed information. Okay. And in information, it involves a lot of technical aspects, techno-commercial aspects, the bill of material, design aspects, technology aspects, benchmark aspects. So we are going to cover all the details in the information phase. The next one is the function analysis phase. I told you function and cost are the two verticals of the value engineering. So here in the function phase, we are going to see what is the basic function, what is the secondary function, And secondary function is divided into many functions like one-time function, order-time function, higher order function, lower order function. And then the third phase is nothing but the creativity phase, where we are going to brainstorm the ideas using the functions. And the next stage is going to be the evaluation phase, where we are going to evaluate the ideas, what we have generated in step 3. And after we evaluate the ideas, we are going to develop the ideas with the help of the top management support. This development can be related to a product or a process or any project or even services as well. And it is not, this value engineering is not restricted only to a product. I know the participants who are attending here, some of you might be from product based company, some of you might be from process based company, some of you might be from service based company. And this value engineering is not restricted to one particular vertical alone. It can be applied to all the industries dealing with product, process, services, and even the equipment related activities as well. And finally, you are going to present it to your management or to your customer, what you are going to have developed, what you have developed, develop the value engineering approach. And as I said, the first one is going to be the information phase, where we are going to collect all the data for the project what you have taken. And this value engineering process is nothing but collection of data, which is nothing but input. And here you are going to process it by analyzing the 6 phases what I have told. And you are also going to evaluate it, and you are also going to look for some alternative proposals basically. It can be related to the manufacturing process. You can look for some of the alternative proposals by changing the process from X to Y or Y to Z, or even the material change from X to Y or Y to Z, or a change of supplier from X to Y, Y to Z, or any change of technology from X to Y or Y to Z. So you always look for alternative. You always need to challenge with respect to design, with respect to technology, with respect to process. Once you challenge, then you will come up with ideas. So that would be the core objective here when you are dealing with any value engineering process. Always you need to challenge it. Okay. It's not that just we directly generate ideas by looking at the product or seeing the manufacturing process or seeing the technology or seeing the equipments or the service activities. So here we always need to look for some speculation, where we are going to create new ideas considering some of the alternative proposals. And finally, we also need to look for some prototype. When I say prototype, for a product, you will get a prototype. But for a process, it is nothing but a dry run kind of thing, where you have to look for some dry run to check it, to check whether the alternative ideas what you have implemented or what you have suggested is working fine or not. And once if this dry run is going to be fine, then you can go for a startup project production, or for a batch production, then you can go for a final production as well. It is very much important. The prototype is very much important for product as well as for a process. So now here, as I said, the idea generation is very important as far as the value engineering is concerned, and we are going to create ideas through functions. And what is product innovation? I'm going to talk here about the product innovation as well as the process innovation, and also how this value engineering can be applied to a manufacturing aspects, and how this value engineering is also been applied to a software-based organization as well. And what is product innovation? Product innovation is nothing but the introduction of a goods or a service which is new or significantly improved with respect to its characteristics or the intended use. So innovation is the one what it is going to separate the high performing organization from the rest of the pack. So if your organization want to be competitive, and if it wants to win the customer, heart of the customer, and also win the competition, then you need to have a product innovation. That's where this value engineering is going to help for a product innovation as well as the process innovation. So let us talk about the product engineering. So you all know that product engineering is divided into product development, product innovation as well. And the product development is nothing but the one which comprises of the processes, which leads to the formation of a product, starting from the initial idea to the final sale of the product, basically. And the product innovation, as you said, it's the introduction of a goods or a service, or even the equipments, what I said, which is new or significantly improved with respect to its characteristics or the intended use. The innovation is what the one which is going to separate a high performing organization from the rest of the pack. So always you need to keep this in mind. You always need to keep that what the technology you have today may become obsolete after 2 years or even 6 months. That's why the mobile manufacturers or the electronic item manufacturers, the automobile manufacturers, they come up with new innovation with respect to their products. That is what it is going to separate them from the rest of the competitors as well. And you need to show some uniqueness. That's where the challenge lies basically for any organization. And innovation is an answer to your business longevity basically. Geo and the Microsoft, Apple, they are known for the innovation. And these are the importance of a product innovation. So it is responsible for increasing the growth of the company. It is going to stand out unique. Your company is going to be unique, and it is going to be standing in number one position with respect to the turnover or profit or a growth or winning the heart of the customer. So you need to stand out uniquely. Is where the product innovation comes into picture. You also need to meet the need of the customer as well, and this will also help for solving the problems, and it will also help for adapting to change. It helps for maximizing with respect to the globalization point of view, and this will help you to face the competition, and this will help you to evolve the workplace dynamics as well. So you have 10 distinct dimensions of your product innovation: a strategy, network, resources, process, product system, product performance, service, channel, brand, and clients and customers. So these are the 10 different dimensions of a product innovation, in which process is also a part of the product innovation. So ultimate question here comes: what customer really wants? This is what the customer are always looking at. They want a lower price, and they want to have a better quality, and they want to have a high performance irrespective of the product. It can be a laptop, or it can be a television, or any electronic products or automobile vehicle, whatever. It needs to have high performance, and it should be safe and should be natural as well. And they always look at this one. They need to look at. They also look. They buy the product considering the innovation and what is the technology that they have in the present generation, and what is the post service with respect to warranty or the service maintenance. And that's where the Maruti Suzuki in India stands number one with respect to the automotive service is concerned, because every 1 kilometer at least we can find one Maruti service station in India. And what are the promises that you're going to give to your customer, and how you're going to make those promises true? So that is where the customer wants. And with respect to the claims also, you need to help the customer. And all this should come with low production cost, and also the time should also, the cycle time should also be lower. When I say cycle time, it's not only the cycle time of manufacturing a product, but also the time required for you to deliver the product to the customer. Nowadays, even though we have Amazon, Flipkart, uh, even we have some facilities even in Amazon, like Prime Amazon, where instead of delivering the product for 5 days, you can get the product in 2 days or 1 day. Um, but still, what the customer really wants here is, when I say the cycle time, the time to delivery is also very important for the customer. Nowadays, the customer is not having time to wait. They want everything at their own pace, and they want it at a very speed manner. So considering that, they don't have any time to wait again. So it's very important that you need to look at giving the service to the customer delivering the product to the customer with less time as well. So that's where we need to look at what the customer really wants basically, and how you're going to achieve that. So you're going to achieve that through three V's. First V is value analysis, second V is value engineering, and third V is value management. The value analysis is the one which you can apply the value engineering technique, whatever I told, function, cost analysis for the existing product or a process. And for a new product, you can apply the value methodology, and that term is called as value engineering. And this value management is nothing but comprising of value analysis, value engineering. And here you are going to consider the product management, also the marketing, the costing, sales, and the other business functions as well, which involves the quality, the manufacturing. So here, value management is nothing but the value culture, basically. The culture that you are going to give throughout all the departments in an organization. It's not that the product engineering alone responsible for value engineering in an organization or value analysis in an organization. So when I say value management, it is a responsibility of all the department in an organization, and also even the marketing as well, even the cost aspects. When I say the different departments, it involves R&D, technology team, the sourcing team, purchase team, and it also involves the quality team, the manufacturing team, operations team, marketing team. So all the departments should come forward and they have to build the culture of value with respect to the process what they are going to follow, and they have to adapt this value culture to achieve the functions and cost which is going to be very lesser, and they are also going to deliver the product with lesser time to the customer at lowest price. So these are all the reasons for analyzing and value analysis. When I say value analysis, it is for existing product. Here, this value analysis is very much useful for reducing the cost and also improving the product function. It also increases the revenue of the company and also the profit per product, especially when you have a huge volumes with respect to any company. Say when you take a Tata vehicle, it is having various models like Tata Tiago, Tata Indica, Tata, it is having a lot of vehicles, lot of models. Okay, so when you reduce the cost in one product, so say for example, if you reduce 100 INR for one product, then if you have a volume of 10,000, then you can see that almost 10 lakh you are going to save for a month. And you can imagine that in a year you are going to save 1 crore 20 lakhs. This is just an example I told you 100 rupees INR. So if the amount is going to be too high, then you can see how much you are going to save across all the domains in the company basically. And this also been used for searching the SEO, search engine optimization, and this also helps for CRM activities, and this is required for meeting the customer needs and also the resource management and also for alternatives. As I was telling you, value is defined with respect to the functions and also by cost. You know about cost, it is nothing but a life cycle cost. So you have a term called function analysis. So what is that? Let us see. Function is nothing but the one what is needed by the customer. Okay? And you need to understand what does the particular product do, or what does the particular process do. What is the expectation of the particular product or a process. You need to identify the need of that, then you need to give the specification for that. See, you can take any product, or you can take any process. It is going to have some specification. So you need to identify the need, what the customer really wants, and what is the specification that they are looking at. Even I can have my automobile having two-wheeler size or a three-wheeler size or a four-wheeler size, or even the buses. Even I can design a train, metro. Each and every product what I told is having different specification. So you need to identify what is the customer they're looking at, what specification they're looking at, and you need to look into that from the function point of view. Then you need to look at the technical functions basically. That's where I told you the basic functions and the functions, those things comes into picture. Then you also need to understand the risk analysis as well. When you're dealing with the functions, you also need to understand the risk associated with that particular function, if in case if the function fails basically. You need to understand that risk analysis as well, and if in case you also need to find out some solutions if in case if any risk comes because of the failure which is going to happen because of so and so function, then you also need to have some backup to solve that particular problem, and for which you can do some optimization with respect to your process design or your product design or even the service design. And finally, you are going to validate it and you are going to implement it. And this is where you look at the function analysis. And here, this function analysis can be applied to a product or a process or a service, which is nothing but this is going to be a broken down approach. And when I say a product, say for example, the laptop is going to have many parts in it. It is going to have a monitor, it is going to have the plastic cover, it is going to have a monitor, it is going to have a speaker, it is going to have a keyboard, it is going to have a keys, it is going to have a charger, it is going to have the mouse, it is going to have the electronics equipments inside the laptop. So you have to break down the product into various parts with the help of the approach you call it the teardown approach. Or when it comes to the manufacturing process, you need to look at respect to the different stages of assembly. So even you can see in any YouTube channel how the vehicle is being manufactured. It can be a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler or a four-wheeler. You can see how that is being manufactured. Okay, so when you're understanding that, you can see the start of the process to the end of the process, and it is going to have number of stages, number of assembly process. Okay, so you are going to analyze each and every process individually, each and every stage individually, and you are going to apply this function analysis to ensure that you are going to have no risk to achieve the function with reduced cost. So how you are going to inculcate the value methodology in the company? That's what I told you. The first important step is the information gathering, where you have to conduct the function analysis, cost analysis, and next you have to look for a function. Next you have to go for a function, then you have to go for a idea generation, where you are going to create ideas, where you are going to brainstorm the ideas, and you are going to find the solutions as well. Next you are going to evaluate the ideas to further develop, and you are going to develop it with the help of some testing, some analysis, what you have selected based on the ideas, and then you are going to present it to the top management or to the each stakeholders in an organization. Then you are going to put that into a plan of effect, which means we are going to implement it. It's not that I just only develop it. I developed the technology uh, from cast iron to aluminum or aluminum to plastic. It's not just a development alone. You are also going to implement it with the help of the testing and then approval from the top management. Then you need to ensure that you are going to implement it. If you are not implementing it, what happens is whatever the money you are going to spend for a design or getting the information or analyzing the functions or developing the ideas, testing the ideas, whatever the money you spend, it becomes obsolete. And if in case if you get any failure during testing, and then you can stop implementation, it doesn't matter. But even after testing, and if there is no issue during the testing during the validation, then it's very important that you have to implement the ideas what you have generated. And even if there is any failure during testing, then you also need to look at the failure cause or root cause for the failure. Then you need to look at some solutions as well. That's where the risk analysis I told you. Those things you need to take into consideration. And finally, you have to implement it. So the implemented ideas only is going to give you the profit. Otherwise, you will not get any profit. So this is very much important. We may be successful from information phase to the presentation phase, but if you are not implementing it, whatever the effort what we are going to put is going to be become again going to be obsolete. So it's very important that we have to implement the products what you have done, and we have to implement the process and even the services as well. When I say services, reducing the breakdown maintenance, implementing the reduced cycle time process, the increasing the overall equipment effectiveness, reducing the quality defects, etc. When I say the manufacturing, it is nothing but the addition of product engineering and process engineering. That is where the manufacturing comes in picture. And value engineering is a great catch when it comes to the optimization of the manufacturing process. Let us talk about the manufacturing process optimization. So this is applicable for a manufacturing company, which is can be of any size. It can be a small company or medium sized company or a large company where you have the high skilled workforces. You are going to look it for having the flexible plant. And again, here you are going to bring the innovation to manufacturing capability, and you are going to exploit the new technologies to improve the performance and bringing the profitable one, which will be applicable to the product before you sell the product to the market. We have various types of innovations in manufacturing. So this innovations is based on the impact, based on the extent, and based on radicalism, and also based on timing. There are various innovations. So all these innovations you need to look when you are looking for a process optimization in a manufacturing organization. You need to look for a process innovation. You need to look for a breakthrough innovation. You need to look for a sustaining innovation. This is where the disruptive innovation comes into picture, which will turn the ideas what you are going to give can also come up with the help of this disruptive innovation as well, which will turn ideas what you are going to generate will turn that in your favorable one, and it will win the heart of the customer, and it will also make your organization to be standing a more unique one than your competitor. And this will also help for you can also adapt the incremental innovation, which means the small step with respect to the improvements what you are going to have for your product and also process. So when I say incremental innovation, say for an example, a manufacturing organization, some company want to reduce the power consumption, some company want to reduce the energy consumption, some company want to reduce the cycle time. It's not necessary you have to do it immediately in a month time or in a quarter, 3 months time. You can also do it on an incremental basis, reducing the power consumption by 6% every year, energy consumption by 3% every year, or reducing the cycle time, identifying the waste, identifying the unnecessary process movement of the employees. Those things you can avoid incrementally. When I say increment, it's not going to be a sudden big jump kind of thing. You can do it in an incremental manner. Slow and steady wins the race, what we call. That's nothing but the incremental innovation here. And product and technological innovation. And this is where you should look for breakthrough techno-commercial ideas. It's not only technical, even the commercial aspects. That's where techno-economic you call. Even this is also a type of innovation you can look at. And even the innovation what you are going to make for your product and process, it can be a permanent innovation as well, and it can also be a hack innovation. Even it can be an open innovation as well. So it's very important that you have to, for a manufacturing company, you need to understand the manufacturing process. So here you have 6 factors to determine the degree of a process. First one is going to be the precision, which deals with the level and sustainability. Next one is going to be the complexity, which deals with level and efficiency. The throughput speed, which is going to analyze the increase in speed, which is going to compromise on the quality and the unit price. Compatibility with the advanced technology, and then here the benchmark comes into picture. So when you're dealing with the manufacturing process, so you also need to look at the technological benchmark. You not only with your customers or not only with your competitor, but even you also need to look at the upcoming technology as well. That's where you need to be your manufacturing process should be compatible with advanced technology, like sort of Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence, machine learning, the IoT, everything comes into picture when you're going for advanced technology. And the scalability, can the manufacturing process or ideas what we are going to give, can it be optimized for a higher volume? The scalability is also very much important. So whatever you are going to look, the innovations or ideas should have these six factors in the mind. The ideas or the innovations should be precision, and it should have less complexity. And you should also look for bringing that innovation very in a speed manner to the market. Um, and again, it should also, the ideas or innovations should also be compatible with advanced technology. It should also be applicable for scalability and even the pace of development as well. How much time it will need to gain the pace of development? That's where the cycle time I told you. You have to bring the product with lesser time to the market again. These are the manufacturing innovations, like where you can look for some of the strategy with respect to the manufacturing, improvising the creating a new process, basically building a new manufacturing equipment, designing and developing a new manufacturing machines. These are all some of the new innovations in a manufacturing organization. Where why I'm telling all these things is you have to reduce the breakdown for your machine, which will improve the productivity and also reduce the cycle time. And even nowadays we have the accident survey as well, where each and every company is going to have the survey. What is the number of accidents that the employee is going to get during the manufacturing of the process? So every company will always look at zero accident, and that's where the Poka and the advanced technologies is also coming to picture when it comes to the manufacturing equipment. By mistake, if some of the employees going to put their hand or fingers into the machines with the help of the Poka process, where we have advanced technology with respect to the sensors, um, it will not hurt the fingers of the employees by ensuring that the sensors is going to stop the movement of the machines by making so that the machine is not going to hurt the employees who is going to work during the work, and by mistake, if yes it is going to happen, it will ensure that it is not going to hurt at any cost. That's where the innovation comes into picture. That so this will also help you to increase the moral of the company and also have zero defects. And at the same time, when you say defects, it's not for a product alone, for a human as well. And always you should look for manufacturing system integration. You have to integrate the process. This is where you can look for some of the ideas as well, where you have to integrate your process, you have to integrate the equipment. So if you have two equipments, can the two equipments can be done in a single equipment to do the same process? How you can have the control process for your manufacturing aspects? How you are going to have the people manufacturing transformation as well? This is very much important. And you should have a shared and sourcing network, and you should have a network operational performance, getting your manufacturing networks performing better through detailed audits. And you have various innovators, you can say, in manufacturing you have various percentage. Only 2.5 percentage are innovators, basically with respect to manufacturing aspects. And you see remaining are divided into various aspects. Some of the innovators are early adopters, some of the innovators are early majority, they are late majority, or maybe laggards as well. Which means in the present scenario, the research says that only 2.5 percentage of the innovators with respect to the manufacturing aspects, they are risk takers. They are serving as a gatekeepers for those who follow, and they are taking the risk. Even if the system fails, they are taking the ownership and they're taking the risk based on their innovation. And you see, you can look at the early majority and late majority, where 34% comprises. They just look at the people, and then they will ensure that if some company is going to implement that ideas, then they will implement it, because they do not want to take the risk, uh, and they do not want their company to be the first company to implement the new process, because if any failure comes, that's where they do not want to take risk, and that's where any company they want to be either early majority or late majority, but they do not want to be either early adopters or innovators. And even early adopters are the one where they look for just a no opinions and giving the opinions, and still they're not going to be the risk takers. And the last one is laggards, where 16% of the group working in the manufacturing, they are coming under this category. What is the common challenge that we have in implementing the value engineering through the manufacturing process? So first one is the lack of awareness and the lack of resources, lack of follow through. And so when I say lack of follow through, it is nothing but you may generate ideas, but if you are not following it, then what happens? You cannot go for evaluation of the ideas or implement the ideas. So it's very important that it's not just a workshop alone, but you need to look that you have to convert that workshop into a implementable one. That's very much important. You need to have the follow up. You need to have also you need to look at the feedback from your customer, what the customer really wants. Okay, so even some companies are lagging this lack of proper customer feedback system. That's where they are also facing challenging in adapting this or implementing the value engineering for their process. Implementing a value-based approach to a software assessment and improvement. Let us see how this value engineering or a value methodology can be applied to a software company. I started by Krasner during 1999, and he pointed out that in a mature software organization, there are three factors going to be considered. First factor is a quality factor. Second factor is a cost and schedule, and third one is going to be the process. So in a software, quality is defined, and therefore it is a predictable one. And in a software organization, the cost and schedules are predictable, and normally it has been met. And in a software company, the process what they are going to follow are been well defined, and it is going to cover under statistical control. This is what been stated by Krasner, who is a well-known writer, author, and also the innovator with respect to the analysis aspects for a company perspective. And here, when I say value is nothing but a function by cost, for a software related organization, when you're going for a development, you always need to look at 2 points here. One is the capability, and then the value that you're going to bring for your product, basically. So when you have four quadrants, the first quadrant, which is nothing but the one where you have uh, the application, the software application, where it will have a high value and also it will have a high capability related to the economic aspects, the value aspects, right? And again, for the one what you have taken into consideration. And second quadrant is the one it will have a high value, but it is not going to have a capability. And so here in this quadrant you have a good value, but it is not going to have a capability with respect to the quality and also the development aspects. So you always need to look at the first quadrant. That should be the aim of any organization related to software. When you take any companies, the leading companies in India, the TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL, so all they come under this first category. I mean, when you're taking some of the software company or the startup company and software organization, what they they always look at providing the high value, which means providing the improvements with respect to the process and reducing the cost. But sometimes what happens is, being a startup company, they fail with respect to the capability point of view. When they fail here, again, they also going to it's also going to get affect the overall value what they're going to give to the end customer. So it's very important that the two eyes here, one is with respect to the value and also the capability, where even the startup company related to software or mid-level size of the company with respect to software should be very much careful when they are dealing with the application what they're going to give to the customer. And this is where this value engineering will also help them to look at the first quadrant, where you are going to ensure that you are going to have a high value, at the same time you are also going to have the high capability. Again, I told you the cost and functions are very much important, and here even in software also you do the software cost estimation, considering the calibration, getting the inputs. You are going to distinguish the accuracy and precision. You are also going to involve the key team members. So you are also going to look at the bottom up approach and also top down approach. And you also need here, very important here is, it's not only a software organization, any organization, the resource is very much important. You also account for resource availability. You should understand what is being estimated, and you also need to re-estimate periodically, and also you need to dictate the events. You need to maintain a balance between requiremements, resources, and time. It is very much important. See, I can have n number of requirements. I can keep on adding the requirements, but when I keep on adding the requirements, what happens is I need to put lot of resources, lot of time. The cost also gets increased. That's where this becomes into very much important when it comes deals with the software applications basically. And uh, and here this point is very much important. And again the same thing is also been applicable for the product company or a process company or a service company, where you need to reduce the number of requirements. You need to have a bare minimum requirements so that you can reduce the time and also the resources. And you also need to know the difference between the estimates and commitments, and you need to put it in the paper. And you always need to have your templates for generating the reports as well and estimation as well. Successful software engineering companies, what they do is they adapt this value engineering and value methodology approach by defining the major goals which needs to be achieved for the software product and also the process. And they use the software engineering goal structure as a checklist, and they define the means by which you will achieve the goals. And those companies, I mentioned a few software company, what they do is they follow the plan through the achievement of the next process of goal. And they also review the product and also the process status with respect to the goals. So they review the fifth step is also been based on the first step again. And they also do the iteration with respect to the goals and plans. And they also continue the process with respect to step number 1 to step number 6 to ensure that all the process are been achieved, and all the process are been completed. And finally, you are also going to review the progress with respect to the entire software goal what you have been defined in the step number 1. You are also going to do some iteration, and you're also going to do some modification with respect to the plan as and when required. But when we have to start implementing the value engineering in an organization, it can be any stage. Okay, it does not matter. So suppose if your company is 100 years old, or if your company is 1 year old, or 1 month old, or 1 day old, doesn't matter. You can apply. You can start applying the value engineering at any stage, at any process, at any time, and any day. But you need to have a proper strategy. You need to have your knowledge, and you need to have the guidance on value engineering and value analysis. And when I say the strategy, knowledge, and guidance, it is based on the 6 phases I told you: the information phase, function phase, the creativity phase, evaluation phase, development phase, and presentation phase. This is where all these six phases will come into picture when you're dealing with the strategy, knowledge, and guidance. That's where the value engineering will help for implementing the better process for any organization. So how can you get a VAV right for an organization? When I say VAV, it is nothing but value analysis, value engineering. And value analysis is the one where you are applying the value methodology for a existing product, existing process, existing services, existing equipments. And value engineering is the one where you are applying the value methodology for a new product, new process, new services. So value methodology is also been termed as value management as well. We told you value management is the one where you are going to bring the value culture across all the department, internally and also externally, starting from the low level of an organization to the top CEO of the company. And here you need to look at understanding and analyzing the functions and features. This is very much important. That's where you can get the VAV right. You need to analyze the functions, you need to analyze the features. You have to select a VAV leader. You always need to acquire a multidisciplinary support. You can generate a lot of ideas. You need to always execute. So these are the things very much important. See, what is important is these 5 steps, whatever the 5 points I told you, all 5 are very much important. You need to understand the product, you need to understand the process, functions, their features. If you're not understanding it, you cannot implement it properly. And if you're not having the proper guidance, again, you cannot implement the value engineering or value analysis. If you are not having the multidisciplinary support, you're not getting support from design team or technology team or a purchase team or sourcing team or a marketing team, quality team. Any one support, if you are not getting, then again, this you cannot implement or you cannot get the VAV right. If you're not getting the ideas also, this VAV is going to fail. And if you're not executing, also, if you're not implementing, it's also a failure of a VAV again. So you have to ensure that all these 5 verticals, whatever I told, you are going to have this as a checklist to implement the VAVE for your process and products in your organization. These are some of the fundamental questions where the industrial manufacturers need to ask themselves. Where are we now and where do we want to go? What balance of innovation do we need? Can we attract, keep, and motivate the key innovation talent? Are we going to collaborate enough outside the organization? How well we know the success when we can see it? So these are some of the fundamental questions that the team who is working in the manufacturing or in process, they need to ask themselves, and they need to come up with some of the solutions as well. So when you look at each and every question, you will get some answer. That answer can be some of the ideas. You can make that answer as an idea for you to analyze considering the function, and you can use this as next step forward for you to take it for evaluation and implement for the success of an organization. Um, product innovation is often visible to the customer. So the innovation in a laptop, the innovation in a mobile phone, the innovation in an automobile vehicle, the innovation in a aircraft, the spacecraft, all this innovation is visible to the customers. Okay, but change in the process, when you change the process in an assembly or in during the manufacturing aspects, it has been only been valued internally. Only the internal company people, they know, they can see that, but it is not been visible to the external people. Okay, product innovation is basically visible to the customer, and the process what you are going to do been valued internally. These are some of the examples for you with respect to the vehicle manufacturing. These are some of the innovations where the year 1901, the assembly line was being patented by Anthony Woods, a car manufacturer. The famous Ford invention comes into picture during 1913. They come up with the world's first moving assembly line. The year 1926, a unified assembly line by Buick Motor Company. In the year 1948, Toyota Motor Corporation developed a lean manufacturing. And in the year 1961, Unimate, the first industrial robot, began working in the assembly of a GM company, General Motors Assembly Line Company, General Motors Company. So these are some of the new innovations, the process that the individual company has come up. Um, this is some of the unique examples for you. Uh, you can also bring such innovations in your company for ensuring that you are going to have a high productivity, high overall equipment effectiveness, reduce the cycle time, high level of quality, zero defects, increasing the employee moral, bringing innovation with respect to the process, product, delivering the product with lesser time to the market, lesser cost, attracting the customers, and serving the customer. These are some of the five technological applications. It's going to impact the manufacturing innovation. First one is going to be the additive manufacturing and 3D printing, advanced materials, cloud computing, IoT, nanotechnology. These are the five technological applications which is going to impact. And these are the manufacturing innovation trends. You have the virtual manufacturing, you have micro manufacturing and machine vision error detection. So all these are the trends which is happening across the globe to the manufacturing. You can look into these technologies or these applications and how you can use this for you to improve the productivity, reduce the cycle time, and how you can. I also need to look at how you can reduce the cost as well. How you can reduce the manufacturing cost. See, when you adapt all these technologies or all these things, you also need to invest some money for you to implement in your process. You need to also look at some of the return on investment (ROI). After you implement it, what is the return on investment you are going to get? So it's very much important that you are not going to adapt all these things in your manufacturing process by free of cost. You need to look at it with some investment. Then you are going to see the results. When I'm going for industrial robotics, I need to invest some money. The company have to invest money, and afterwards they will see the improvement with respect to productivity and reducing the cycle time. Then they can calculate the cost. And again, they also need to look at the ROI should be such a way where they can get the investment, whatever they have invested in 12 months' time. If ROI is on the higher side, then it's very important that you need to look at the financial aspect. Then you have to look at adapting the new technologies. This ROI will also vary with respect to the various aspects. Sometimes, if the bigger companies going to implement the industrial robotics in their manufacturing process, the ROI will be very lesser for them. They can get the return on investment in 3 months or 6 months time. But same if the industrial robotics is been purchased in a small organization where their volume is lesser, and sometimes what happens, the ROI can be on the higher side for them. But still, it is advisable for the company top management people to ensure that they're going to have the proper strategy with respect to the financial aspect. Then they're going to look into all this innovation. They're going to implement it. Then they can also go for a sensors. They can also go for a fully automated warehouses. They can also go for a 3D printing. This is also quite interesting. You can look for a safety exoskeleton for the workers. These are all the very good, interesting innovations that is happening in the respect to manufacturing process. So, what's conclusion here? What is next? So, here we live in an era of constant transformation. The ability to be flexible and agile is one of the key qualities for success. Product innovation, process innovation has been altering the manufacturing for decades. It goes without saying that the future will witness even more breathtaking technological disruptions as research around nanotechnology and analytics start to impact the numerous manufacturing applications. So, as I said, the VAV success is based only on the execution. It's not important how much time you spend for information, how much time you spend for a function analysis, how much time you uh, spend for a idea generation, how much time you spend for evaluation. how much time you do for a development testing, doesn't matter. What is the execution, that is very much important. Even the, the time what we spend for manufacturing is also not important for a customer point of view. See, when I'm buying a Apple laptop by spending 1,50,000 rupees, what I normally look at, the end product, that's what I look at. Then the time to delivery, um, and the aesthetics, whatever I call. So you need to ensure that uh, the VAV success is based on the execution. So this successful VAV going to campaign the execution level, and you need to take leadership support, and you need to look at some ideas which can be executed, and ultimately the perseverance and determination is very much important. Some ideas will take more than 1 year or 2 years, 1.5 year. So you need to be consistent, and you also need to be patient to implement ideas. You need to wait for the time to implement as well. Um, and again, some of the products or some of the thing can also be a seasonal based product. Say for example, the umbrella. Okay, and the sweater what you have, for that, those things are been basically a season product. Okay, um, and many you can take. Okay, and some of the products will be very peak during the summer. Some of the products will be very peak during the winter, especially the air conditioning product. AC, the usage of AC will be much more higher in the case of summer, and it will not be higher in the case of winter. Okay, but again, heater comes in winter. That is there. And here, what you need to even also need to look at the different aspects, and you also need to be very much patient. That execution, you need to wait for the execution, because when you start from information and when you look for the development, it is going to be more than minimum 6 months to 1 year. And after implementation, again going to the market, we need heart of the customer, again it is going to be another 3 months time. So you need to be patient till then, and then you need to see the results basically. So if you want to find out more, you can contact us, and yeah, Poonam will be explaining.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Arjunraj, for giving such an elaborate presentation on value engineering. Hope you all learned something useful today. As we know, we have understood that value engineering is everything about making our lives better, but with low cost and high value. I request everyone to ask and discuss doubts and concern on this topic. Please. Further, you can call us on this number. You can visit our website, and we have our company page on Facebook and LinkedIn, as well as we have YouTube channel. On that channel, you will get all the presentations and videos related to engineering. They are not just videos, but Mr. Arjunraj has explained everything in very deep in those YouTube channel. So please visit the channel for your more information. Thank you everyone for giving your valuable time for us. You'll be receiving this copy of presentation as well as Google feedback form in your email soon. Please fill that for us so we can understand where are we right now and how we can improve ourselves. Thank you.
Yeah, if there is any questions from participants, you can ask, or even you can also write an email. If any questions, any clarifications, we can discuss now.
Sir, I had a question. Sudhakar here. You mentioned something about smart recycling in your PPT. So, can you just share some inputs on that? The manufacturing process.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So here, when I say smart recycling, say for example, when you're taking the manufacturing aspects, you have a lot of the waste getting um, what you're going to do is, say, for example, when you take some sheet metal products, so you're not going to use the complete sheet metal coil. So what you can do is you can also recycle it, and recycle means you can whatever the product, whatever the sheet metal, whatever you told, which is not been used for your manufacturing process, that can be recycled. That can be used as an input for manufacturing some other products. So you also need to look at the recycling process. So here, when you say recycling process, you are also going to generate the cost out of it, which means the money out of it. You are not going to make that as a waste, basically. It is again a revenue to the company. It's not just a waste alone. So you need to look at some recycling process. That's where the companies should also look at those aspects as well. And this is also a value to the thing to the company, because when you are going for recycling, you are not going to have the wastage, which is nothing but the cost what you are going to spend. It is going to get avoided, and you can get some profit by looking at recycling process as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's where even some of the waste products can also be used for some of the casting application. There are a lot of companies they do the recycling. Um, Even what you have e-waste, you have paper waste, even medical waste. So you have a lot of things where even they do the recycling, and they earn a lot of profit out of it, and again without affecting the environment as well. So it's very much important. The recycling is important, and that's where all the manufacturing companies should also come forward to see how they can recycle their products. When you say recycle, only the waste, which means, say, for example, 100% of the volume. When I say, when you take the laptop, okay, the volume what it is going to occupy is very less, and the what is the raw material is going to be used for manufacturing a laptop can slightly higher. Okay, the extra portion which is not being used as a part of the manufacturing, it's not going to be waste. Those waste is being recycled to some other company, and that is an input for some other company for doing some other manufacturing process. So in that way, we need to look into it. So here, as I was telling, the life cycle cost, which is nothing but the overall cost. So here, the manufacturing cost is also a part of life cycle cost. So here there is a possibility that when you are going for a recycling, some, if not to the greater extent, some, at least some portion of cost can be reduced. That's where you can also reduce your manufacturing cost. And when you reduce the manufacturing cost, your total cost can be lower. It means your value is going to be higher. That's where you can bring the value to the customer. It's all going to have the indirect benefit, basically. But finally, even the small increment, what I was telling, basically it can also be an incremental benefit. That's where you also need to look at some of the innovation considering that as well.
Definitely, sir. My point also in on the same lines, like now you see a lot of dynamics happening, many new things are coming into the fore. And if you see the product life cycle itself, you see a drastic drop. And so I was also looking at the e-waste generation. Today,
Exactly.
you see a lot of e-waste getting generated. So
Mhm.
unless you have a very systematic way or an efficient way of recycling, you'll be left with a lot of scrap. So that's what I was just thinking. So that's the reason I asked you about the smart recycling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got my answer, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you. And in case I need any other input, I will check with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for the query.
Yeah, thanks.
If any other doubt, you can also ask, or you can also post me. And thank you. And this is
Sure.
my
Thank you.
email ID and mobile number. And many of you might be having this. Thank you. Thanks all. Thanks once again. Thanks, Poonam, for hosting this.